Our theme for this year's Congress is what we can learn from the sciences, examining how science can enhance animal advocacy. I also want to begin by putting on the table some challenges and even some deep questions about the relations between science, advocacy, and the law that I think we should be aware of as we go into our discussion.
Collaboration and connection are two critical components of the Brooks Congress. Each of you were intentionally invited as mission-minded colleagues in animal protection.
Our hope is that the Congress weekend is a movable, continuing conversation both in and out of sessions.
There are two absolutely critical things that the conference does. There's this large group of people who understand this. They're understanding it from different disciplines, from different backgrounds, from different years of working in the field, having worked in it for decades or more recently. That just completely has a categorical difference on the quality of the work that I can do. Every year that I've been to these meetings, the work gets strengthened, the collaborations get more ambitious, the quality of the research and the scholarship gets advanced. Just having the space and the time to be able to do that over longitudinally rather than just in one shot, I think is irreplaceable. I don't think there's any other way to do it, and I think it makes all the difference.
To me, it's a unique and quite exciting combination of people from law, people from science, people from philosophy, policymakers. It's an attempt to build a community that can achieve meaningful change. We have so much to learn from each other and so much that we can do together. Our theme in this session is what science can tell us about what animals are like. I think with a subtext of that is useful for animal advocacy.
I met people who all had one thing in common. We're interested in the animal's perspective and how to think about and represent non-human animals.
I think one of the things that philosophers can bring to conversations about this is a sort of critical perspective on what is happening with the knowledge production.
People who are really thinking creatively about how to use the law and also science to help animals in laboratories, which is, my area. So I'm thrilled to reconnect with some of those people and also meet some of these speakers who have been really at the forefront of thinking about how to use science to affect the law.
I would characterize the last 10 years of my career as quite a reckoning, and one of the hardest things I've ever had to do was change my mind.
I don't think it's possible to stop that connection happening. I think, and the focus for me today is not just to say we should only do climate work, but I don't also think that we shouldn't be focused on the incredible negative impact of the animal agricultural system and have that as a tactic to try and make things better in some way.
Following last year's conference, I actually have engaged in lots of productive conversations with other attendees and engaged in some new collaborations, exciting collaborations that are going to help animals with people I never would have otherwise met unless I came to the conference.
It provides that forum for exposure and for talking to people from very different perspectives about animal protection. And so this includes, for someone who's relatively new to the animal field like myself, talking with other like-minded individuals, even the scientists that are here at this particular Congress, which is really to investigate, the role of science, or to understand and sort of conceptualize the role of science for animal protection. It's important, for me at least, to learn about what other people are researching, but to also learn and understand what are the legal avenues for animal protection and what kinds of evidence are required in that space in order to advance animal protection, and how I can help as a scientist to be generating that kind of evidence and that kind of information. I wouldn't know that had I not had a forum like Brooks Congress.
Science has had a lot to do with animal protection now for a long time, but it's often been kind of informal and kind of ad hoc and piecemeal. And this is really the first gathering that I know of where we get such an incredibly great mix of people who are really at the top of their professions, whether it's advocacy or law or science, who are really coming together. And not only are people coming together in this amazing informal networking way, which is hugely important, but we're also going to be talking about a lot of these substantive issues together. And I think these are going to be conversations that for almost everyone in the room are going to be unlike conversations that any of them have really had before.
Animal suffering works always much better based on meta-analytic evidence, also collected by Jacob, and Janice was on that research as well. We show, this is one of these messaging strategies that shows most promise compared to health messaging, compared to environmental messaging, compared to zoonotic disease risk messaging. Typically, you don't find any effects there compared to control conditions, right?
There's something interesting about issues that are in the domain of the moral. One researcher, one moral psychologist used to call it moral mandates. Like when we have a moral mandate about something, we hold a moral mandate. That means that the issue not only is seen in our mind in moral terms, but it's also core to who we are.
There aren't a lot of conferences where we can kind of get down to brass legal tacks, real substantive approaches to how we marry these fields that are not really used to talking to one another. There's a number of legal practitioners here at this conference that I've met before and a few that I haven't yet met, and I'm really looking forward to think about how we can better support one another to make scientific evidence more intelligible and to make the legal strategies more urgent as hypotheses and tests that I take on as a scientist so that I can provide legally and policy relevant research rather than doing what scientists have done for a long time, which is do our science over here, put it up on a shelf and hope somebody comes along and takes it down.
It connects the community. That's what I'm really excited about. I've made so many connections. Some of them are with people I've read their work and have never met. So it's been a real education for me.
It's been a very inspiring conference for me. I've never really been in touch that much with legal scholars, with lawyers in this field. And I was very fascinated by the type of questions they are asking social scientists and the type of answers they want to find out.
This weekend for me has just been such a wonderful reminder of why I dedicated my career to this space and to interact with such incredible people in an incredible place and a setting. To do that is just definitely one of a kind.
This is a rare opportunity to have those kinds of conversations, and so thank you for all joining that conversation, that set of conversations, and for being good citizens in this enterprise.